Hello, my name is Adam Carson, and I am really, truly sorry about this entire thing. The ranks are being reset, most likely. Everything is going to be changing. What would have happened is that the system would have changed regardless, but without me releasing the information on this exploit and discovering this exploit and putting it out there to all the top red players, we would have a real number one predator. So I'm really sorry for ruining that. We will not know who the real one number one predator is, and that is 100% on me. But after bringing so much light to this situation, proving how exploitable it is, how easy it is, I can't help but feel at least happy that it's out there. But a large majority of me just feels shitty for this. So I'm going to explain the whole history, the past 4 days of this entire release. Why, how, and when for everything. When the exploit was created to when I started tracking things and the actual stats of 4Rips and his duo, eventually picking up a third player who was actually legit and had no idea this was going on, most likely, until they started doing it and he got excited about it. He was participating in this, all three, but at first, the third member was not. So I'm assuming they tried to hide it from him, and then when they really told him about it, he most likely wanted to get in on it. So you can see here that we are in Dimmy818's live stream. This was 4 days ago, as you can see, 4 days ago. And this was during one of his longer grinds for getting into pred. He was already pred at this point, and he was only gaining 12 AP per win. So you can see over here. Actually, let me zoom in. Wait, I think I got it. Loss forgiveness. So what I'm talking about here is when I started noticing that most I'd say probably about 75 to 60% of the losses taken from 4Rips and his duo were not actually full losses. One of their team members would always be leaving. That way they actually wouldn't lose anything for loss forgiveness. I believe that if they did the loss forgiveness bug fully, it 100% would have been like visible to everything. But they also needed to drop their MMR as well. So I believe that they realized that they couldn't do it all the time, but when they really were going to lose to somebody, like 100%, they had their teammate leave. No, I cannot prove this, nor do I have proof of everything that they were doing. All we can do is watch the stats, see what's going on, and compare the stats. Figure out how many games per hour, what wins and what losses were in there, figuring out who was on his team and who is facing what servers he's on. Now, these guys focused on the major servers. I'm sorry, the opposite. They didn't want anything to do with the major servers. They actually went to the lower populated servers like Sao Paulo and Singapore. They went to a lot of these lower, generally average ranked servers with not many high pred ranked people in order to exploit the lower ranks so they would have easier games as well. So it's possible that not all the time they did the full maximum exploit that I will be showing. However, they most likely did the exploit at such a different level that not even the people who know about the exploit can catch up with them. Currently, during the stats that you will see, people are currently getting approximately 378 AP for 12 wins, or for 12 games at 100, you are getting 1,000. Now, please note, getting 100 on every single win is actually pretty much deemed very difficult and if not almost impossible. The MMR drop has to be so rough. You have to be doing this exploit for so long that you actually get 100 plus every single time for 3 wins, which is very, very difficult to do, and it has not been seen except on 2 accounts only, and that would be 4Rips and his partner, DN. So you can see the major difference, 925 AP versus 378. Even if you're getting the minimal at 45 or 50, I calculated at 50 was the average, as not many people got below 50 except for here and there. And that would be 228 AP in 12 games, or 19 AP per games. Now, the people that were doing this, 4Rips and his partner, were actually putting out about 5 to 8 games per hour. So in a single day, as you can see down here, I'll give today as an example. They went from 14,089 today to 15,710. And they're still most likely going. In fact, if we check that right now, he has stopped. So he has stopped right here. If we look back to Dimmy, you can see that he is pretty much higher than everyone else. 4Rips is putting in 5 to 8 hours a day maximum. I don't think I've ever seen him go more than 5 hours, actually, now that I think about it. So I would even say 3 to 5 hours is the time that 4Rips is playing. So with 4Rips being so high up on the leaderboard, it's kind of insane to think about the AP gains he must be getting, considering that Dimmy does not log off. I mean, obviously he does, but this man is playing for 10 to 12 hours a day. Minimal. This man is grinding so goddamn much, but somehow he still cannot get up to 4Rips. So although we do not have the confirmation on what he is doing, we 100% know that 4Rips is doing such a harsh exploit compared to Dimmy and all these other people. Now, it wasn't just Dimmy. Aiden, Spooky, and a few other of these were also told this through Dimmy, which also came from me. Obviously, I'm the one who came up with the exploit, and I was thinking that we should turn it around and fight fire with fire, which is probably the dumbest thing I've said and thought of and actually believed in. And once again, I am really sorry about that. We now know that we might not have a real number 1. We might not know if any of these guys are actually legit. I mean, some of these people, even down here that I am seeing, I know are doing it. So we don't know who the real number 1 is. And that is 100% on me. And I am truly sorry about that. But past that, we now know that you have to be playing 10, 12, 15, 20 hours a day just to barely keep up with 4Rips. That is not something that needs to be said for you to be, oh my gosh, that guy really is far ahead and he barely plays. You must know that there are some people who continually grind all day. And if they can't do it, something is wrong. So let's go through this document. So for the legal exploit version, here's what we're doing. This is just the description. If you want to read this, you can go down in the description and I will be posting it down there. Pretty much what the overall rank description says is how it actually pretty much works. From pretty much lower than plat, you're going to be getting 100 to 70. If you are at max MMR for your rank, which we don't have the numbers for, the max MMR that you're going to get, or AP per, is 70 to 100. Diamond goes from 45 to 1 or 12. And then Master Plus, you are getting 12 AP per. Bronze to Diamond 1 is most likely the most easy climb, but Diamond 1 and getting out of it is most likely the hardest thing that you will have to achieve. Getting to pred is one of the most difficult things. Only getting plus 12 for an entire rank just to hit pred and then almost be put back because everyone else is getting plus 12. However, people are losing 20 to 30 as well, while others are only losing 12. This is also dependent on your MMR, as past a certain point, you won't know if you're at the MMR cap, as the minimal gain is 8 or 6 plus per. So it is possible to go under, but you will not know if you're at max cap or not. I believe that the medium point for MMR is still giving you 12, and those who are lower than that are only getting less. As there are very rare situations, and from what I have been told, there are very few people who actually get less than 12. So for the legal exploit, it's really, really simple. You are MMR matching. You are dropping your MMR below people in Diamond and Pred. So when you fight people in Diamond or Pred that you're getting paired with, you are actually gaining more AP because the game thinks that you are a lower rank. The game believes, oh, you're this rank. Okay, here's the extra AP. I hope you get to the rank you want to go. However, you're not actually at that rank at all. Instead, you are on, well, Pred, and you're getting more AP than you actually should be. So as you can see, 3 wins, 3 losses is most likely the most basic way to do it. You can lose once or twice in order to get minimal gains like plus 30, plus 40, and such on, which isn't too much of an increase, but it is enough to make a difference. You can see here in the calculations, if you do want to check this out, what I've actually come up with. So rather than getting 77 per AP per win, you can get 31 to 19 as well. Now we're going to get to the illegal exploit. And this is most likely bannable as it is entirely exploiting every single crevice of this exploit that I could think of. And not actually all of it. I actually held back on this section because I didn't want people to get too confused so they could understand it. So if those like video game nerds like me who understand this concept, you will see the true power behind this and how deep it can actually go. And you will most likely know this is just the tip of the iceberg for the illegal exploit part. So for this, you will need 2 to 6 level 10 accounts who are in qualifying. This way, you can get loss forgiveness on 2 of the accounts at a time, or 3 of the accounts on a time, while the other one ranks up as well. So for low population servers, they were mostly on Sao Paulo, but every now and then, if they started having too much trouble on Sao Paulo because that's where boosters go, other good players, they would actually go over to Singapore and other ones as well that were not confirmed yet. So I will probably not bring those up at all. And the last thing is timing and low morals. To do this one, I think it requires much less morals to do because of the amount of effort it is that you're doing it and the actual amount of time that you're putting into actually doing this. Now, keep in mind, you could do this way faster, but I believe personally that the games that, if this was being used, this version was being used by Forips and his partner DN, then I believe that 100% he would have been caught 100% sooner. Unfortunately, he wasn't. I believe he was using partial of this tactic or other tactics as well. Like I said, it's not 100% confirmed, and neither was it on the stream or video that was posted. Instead, we will never know. The only proof that he has is that he actually reached out to an employee of Respawn, an artist, claiming that there was an issue with the glitch, or saying that there was a glitch, and saying that it should most likely be patched. But instead, he implemented it into his actual playstyle and continued to play with it. And for some reason, he's able to gain two times more than majority of these other players who are grinding out the same hours, doing the exploit. So the instructions are where it gets very confusing, so I'm not going to go over this too much. So I'm just going to point out this. You can exploit this part even more. This is why it's the most efficient way to do it, but it's not the exact way that they were doing it because they didn't do this that much. I'm not sure if it was with a qualifying account or a random person who'd be willing to leave. But what would happen is if you want to win versus one of your qualifying accounts, you would win twice. One of the qualifying accounts would leave, and then you would win. That way, 2 out of the 3 qualifying accounts are no longer gaining progression towards their qualifying. And now you can repeat this multiple times. So you will have 4 accounts in game, or you could have 2. One on the enemy side to leave, so those people get lost forgiveness if you're a nice person. Or you could only have one qualifying account that you're going to be switching repetitively, but after 10 games of doing it, it is most likely going to get worn out and you will have progression, because the account that leaves, it's counted as a leave and a loss because you left. Not only that, you will be penalized for 10 minutes. So to maximize this efficiency, you will have 2 different or 3 different, to be full maximum, 3 different accounts that are qualifying in order to get this full rotation in. One goes in, he leaves. One goes in, he leaves. One goes in, he leaves, for 3 different matches. So the wins go like this: win, win, leave, win. The losses actually go a little bit different. The losses go win, win, one account leaves from both sides. Now that is very important. You want a super low MMR account, so the one that leaves on the qualifying team will do exactly just that. On the main team, the one account that leaves as well is a qualifying as well. And this is why I say you need 4 accounts, like average. It's because if you want to do this full efficient method, this is the way to be doing it. Using 6 accounts will have 3 leavers and 3 players. That way you're fully benefited. You could have 7 for 1 lever on your team, but if you're duo queuing, this is the ultimate way to be doing this, is actually with just 4. And it's just so you can get undiscovered and you can go on through this entire thing. So this is where you have complete control. Most important thing is just kind of going over. I'll just read it. The qualifying team should be mostly used for BT losses. In order to maximize their MMR, then swap the 2 to 6 high MMR accounts to ensure that every time you queue against them, it's the maximum gain possible. So on 2 of the qualifying accounts on the opposite team, the qualifying team, you are going to be building their MMR up every single time that they beat you. So for every time that you lose against those 2 accounts, which you should keep separate from the other qualifying accounts, the leavers, it should be mostly used for the losses against the main team. That way, those accounts are beating predators. It is most likely going to increase the MMR of those accounts and continually give you more MMR per win and AP per win guaranteed. So rather than gaining 108, you could be gaining 128 to 178 every single win and gaining 20 AP more per win. And that is going to be covering a lot more of the minus 12 losses that are actually out there. For this recent development section, this is when I started to actually stat track. This is delayed. This is 2 days ago. So halfway through this investigation, 2 days after the discovery. Sorry, I'm going to mute this. 2 days after this, we can see that I actually start doing the investigation and doing the recent developments. We confirmed that 4Rips was using Singapore and Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo confirmed. Singapore ended up being confirmed. It was confirmed. The theory for the illegal is not 100%. So this is basically saying that we don't know if he's doing the illegal version 100% of the time, but we know that he's doing something close to it, and especially with qualifying or platinum accounts. The platinum account theory is kind of bullshit, I will say. They ended up picking him up and they ended up getting him into diamond, I believe. And that's because he was actually a real legitimate player who was actually better than all of them. And even when 1v1ing the new pickup player, Caesar, he actually was better than the entire team. And 4Rips was cheating him out of 1v1s, right? he would say go, but he was already moving. So he wanted to feel better. He wanted to have that ego over these other dudes. And that is what's crazy to me. This man is thirsty for that number one and was willing to do anything for it. In fact, he's doing so much for it. He plays in, like I said, I'll reiterate, he plays in half to a third of the time that all these other pros are playing, but he is gaining 2 to 3 times more than them. That is not something that should be possible with the regular exploit considered legal. So currently boosting player. This is when I discovered him. Currently boosting the player. Keep up with him. Who was a good player. Got platinum. So was reaching shots. So different progression with a third. When they got a third player, they started getting matched with higher difficulty teams, and they actually started having a lot more issues with their climb and their exploitation, which is pretty impressive to say the least, considering that you call yourself a number one pred. Then we actually get into something really, really weird. We actually see DNZ, which is an account that showed up at first, but it later turned out that it actually wasn't. It was DN_Z1. I believe I found that right here. Yeah, so it was DN, DOL, and it was DN_Z1. So keep in mind, at this point, I already have all the Twitch users, all of the, except for DN, all of the Twitch users. Oh, and by the way, I went back on DN's Twitch, and he did not stream. None of them have VODs, and none of them you're able to clip. So you cannot see any of their gameplay no matter what. So DN, I lost. But then I still found the top two. 4Rips changed his name to I Love Loba and did not play a single game on the name I Love Loba. He did not play a single one. Caesar changed his name to Seer7834. He ended up keeping that name for a little bit and ended up, I'm not sure if it's still the same. Yeah, so all of these players have now turned their names back to their original names. Once I call them out during their live stream, which you can see in the video from that's marked in this file right here, you will be able to see everything that I was talking about and everything. I do realize that I was being harsh, as I was very, very upset with this, and I'm sorry for the actions that may have been too aggressive, but please try to take note that I thought I was being the hero, and I really wasn't, and I really do take full responsibility for that. So here you can see that they changed the names. DN couldn't find the name for him. So then it turns out that once again, later, without even playing a single game, 4Rips changed his names again to 1. So the excuse in the video when I confront him about this is he said he was being stream sniped. He couldn't get away from people stream sniping him, and he needed to change his name. But keep in mind, he doesn't know that I was keeping track of his records and score the entire time. He never played a single single game the entire time. There was nothing. Okay? So here's when he picks it back up after the name changes. DM still couldn't find the name to him, but we end up finding out his name changes later on. So 4Rips changes his name twice. 4Rips got online, lost a game with Caesar, only to go from here, which was a loss forgiveness, into another loss, and then into a win. So here we go into this though. This was when everything started to go a little bit weird. He was having 3 to 5 minute games. 3 to 5 minute games. And all of a sudden, he starts getting 15-minute games because he's queuing with Caesar. He's getting a full 3 squad, right? So here we come in with 2 losses, 2 pluses, a loss, 25-minute game with no gain, nothing. I do not know how this is possible. It might have been a glitch, but he 100% had a 0 game. So that means it was a lost forgiveness. I believe the site continued the game too long, but he 100% had a zero thing. So there's one, there's two, and if we looked at his profile earlier, which it might not show on the Apex tracker, maybe it will, but he actually lost 3 to 5 other games in the span of not only these games right here, but the past 15 as well. So he was heavily abusing it before this day. So it's +2 or -2, +2, -3. And that's when he starts to get on his live stream. He's expecting to go on wins, and they're just expected to be normal. He was most likely going to play 4 or 5 games, and that was going to be it, showing that, oh, we just keep winning, and when we lose, we lose. But that's not how this actually happened. He ended up playing another 3 games where he lost 3 more back to back. One of his teammates got lost forgiveness because one of the players actually left. One of his teammates rage quit and actually left entirely. And that is pretty astounding to say the least. So one of them got it, lost forgiveness when DN left. But actually what's really funny is that he actually got a +12. Him being 4-rips. 4-rips got a -12. Even regardless of his team leaving, which I think is really hilarious. He then got another minus, and this is when you can see something weird happening. He gets a +128, which I believe he would have gotten higher if he was only on a 3-loss streak. So he went +128, +109, and +108. What we can see from the stats on different sites is that he never drops below 108. Once he hits 108, he actually continues to lose, and then he goes back on the cycle. Rather than people going to +50, +75, or +100, even one of the players ended, other Preds got 128 as well, or 126 as well. They'd always drop back to 12 within the matter of 4 to 5 games. Now, this would mean if he won another game, he most likely 100% would have actually gone down the drain and proven that he was exploiting in that percent. He then goes on to lose a game. And by the way, starting around this, just before his win, or just after this win on 109, I believe it was, you can watch the video. He did not want to keep playing. He wanted to get off stream, but his friends were saying that nothing was going to happen from it. Little did they know I was actually recording it. Then he went to AIM Labs to show he wasn't hacking, which is not the actual point of this entire thing. We're trying to prove that he is exploiting. And in the video, you can see that. In the video, he's actually joking about how to do the exploit, which I may not have actually seen that on the video. I may have stopped the recording earlier, but he was joking about doing the exploit. He was like, oh, if you want to do the glitch, you got to go over here to the store and click these 3 things, and you go to your profile. And he was mocking it. He 100% declined the accusation. He ignored it. He said it was fake. He was not exploiting. But I have heard, and there's someone with a screenshot who proves this guy told 2 people that he knew about the exploit, and he was abusing it. So he lied to everyone who was watching that stream. He 100% was exploiting it and confirmed it. We just do not know how much or what exactly he was. So after this, I started doing the totals. I posted the video to YouTube. Then I realized that we actually found DN. In fact, he's still here to this day. DN changed his name from DN to DOL, and then he went to Drunk G Fuel. Remember, they said they did this out of necessity for stream sniping, even though none of them actually stream sniped or were even streaming. And you can see here, it is once again all the way back to DN. Now that they've been called out, they officially changed their names all the way back to what they originally were. Oh, Caesar changed his name back to Caesar, Rips changed his name back to Rips, and then I can actually even say here, DN changed his name back to DN. AP current as of today was 14 today. You guys can see how I edit this. Here you go. 8/7/2021. This is his gain from today. And nowhere ever on the history of this man's arena account has he lost 6 games in a fucking row. I have been stat watching this man for so long, and he has only lost 2 to 3. He may have lost one here and there in between wins, actually because he faced a really good team. And in those games that he would randomly lose outside of his pattern, it was more than -12. It was -20, -30, even one of them being -40. And then we get into the formal request of action, which you guys can read, pause now if you want, or actually go to the document. This is what happened. This is what has been going on behind the scenes since day one. Since day one, people have been abusing this, and I wanted to fight fire with fire. People were giving up, and I did not want people to give up. So I tried to give them that hope that they wanted. I figured it out, and I said, hey, we'll fight fire with fire. Even if we can't do it at the same level, creep on him. You guys all here are the ones who play 10, 12, 13, 20 hours a day, 30 hours a day. You guys can creep on him. And for 1 minute, they did it. Demi beat the major exploiter by using the legal exploit version. He fucking did it. That is what I wanted. But then I realized after talking to someone, there is no point. I made this situation 100 times worse. I am the one who is telling people about this. I was clarifying things. I was doing this. I was doing that. And I really am sorry. We do not have, for this intro, for this start, we do not have a number 1 pred. And I now realize that. We can no longer say it's like that anymore. We can't. And that's that. GG's to everybody. And once again, I'm sorry. Next season, if something happens, if there's an exploit, you can trust me to find it. But goddamn, I will keep my motherfucking mouth shut. I want a real number 1 pred. I want to see the real number 1 pred grind out. I want to see these people doing it. And I will stat track everyone who's in pred. Everybody. If you are abusing a bug, I will find you. And I will make sure to cut your name off that pred list. You do not belong in pred. This time we fought fire with fire, and we got our attention. We got the attention of everything. We got the attention of Respawn. We got the attention of people. But at what cost? Literally, Thanos. At what fucking cost? We do not have a real number 1 pred. Someone told me it's like beating hackers with hackers. It's great on paper, but you're just as bad as they are. You are just as bad as they are. And that isn't okay. I am truly sorry that we do not have a number 1 pred. Next season, I will point out those exploiters, and I will make sure that we get it concealed around that person, get them in trouble for whatever the punishment may be, however severe. And I will make sure to handle this one a lot better. I hope you guys have a good day. That is all I have. Once again, I am really sorry.